All right, so now we're going to go from direct variation, where everything started at 0, 0, and then we're going to introduce slope-intercept form. So this is where we are no longer starting at 0, 0. That's the big difference between slope-intercept form and direct variation. And actually, direct variation is written in slope-intercept form with our y-intercept being 0. So takes it directly from where we were. All right, so our first slide is vocabulary, and the definitions are going to pop up in just a second. From here, make sure you pause and write these vocabulary words down so that when you see these words later, if you forget what they are, you can come back to their definitions. All right, so slope-intercept form itself has two parts. We have M, which we know to be slope from our first section in this lesson or chapter, and then B, this is our y-intercept. And so this would be the point 0, comma, whatever our y value is or our y-intercept is. Now, we have the plus sign here, but really this sign is whatever the value of b is. So if b is a negative, then you will most likely see it as minus b instead of plus b. Just to kind of keep in mind that the sign in front of our constant or any number is the value of, helps with the value of that number. All right, so identifying slope and y-intercept. So we're given an equation and we just need to say what our slope is, so what m is and what b is. Remember, m is always with the variable, so it is our coefficient with x. And so I just have to find x. That means this is my m. The x does not come with it. It is just the 5 in front of the x. And then also start getting in the mindset that this is a 5 over 1. Now in Math Excel, this is what all it's needing is 5. But it's good to know that that is 5 over 1 because that will help us later on. And our y-intercept, that b value, which is always our constant, making sure we take the sign with it, is a -2. And that's how we identify slope and y-intercept. All right, now moving to the next example. Write an equation in slope-intercept form. So it tells me my slope, so it's saying that m is a -4/5, and it's telling me my y-intercept, which is my b, so b is 7. So now we're going to take that y equals mx plus b, and I'm going to replace m and b. So y will equal a -4/5 x plus 7. It has to have an x. If you don't put the x, then you haven't written the full equation because you got to have that variable that we're plugging into. But that's our equation. That's how we write when we know m and b. All right, what about if we're given a graph? How do we write the equation from the graph? Well, guess what? From the graph, you need to find m and b. B is the easiest, so we're going to go to where, here's the y-axis, here's where the graph crosses the y-axis. That's at -2. Or more specifically, that is the point 0, -2. From there, I'm going to find another point. I could choose this one. I could choose this one. I could choose this one up here. It doesn't matter, but those are the points I'm looking at because they cross at whole numbers. So since I already have my y-intercept, I'm going to go from the y-intercept to what technically right now is the x-intercept. It will not always be y-intercept to x-intercept, but I'm going to count my slope. I go up 2 and over 1, so I have a 2 over 1 for my slope, which is 2. So I found my slope, I found my y-intercept. Now I just plug into y equals mx plus b. So y equals, my m is 2x, my plus b it's a -2, right? So I'm just going to make it -2. And then that's my equation. Why did I make it minus when this says plus b? Because a -2 is the same as -2. All right. And writing the equation given 2 points. So again, I still need slope and our y-intercept. Now the y-intercept part is going to be the part that's the hardest. So first I'm going to start on this one, finding slope. Remember that m is y minus y over x minus x. And so we're going to start with finding m, doing 1 minus -8, y minus y, over x minus x, 2 minus 5. Now, 2 had to come first because I pulled the 1 first. All right, so 1 minus a -8 becomes 1 plus a +8, so that's 9. And 2 minus 5 is -3. So we have 9 divided by -3, which is a -3. So that is my slope. Now, to find my y-intercept, I pick one of the points. It doesn't matter. This one seems the easiest. They're both positive, and we have a 1 in there. I just try to find numbers that I could more easily work with, and if I can avoid negatives, that makes my job easier as well. So I have a point, so I know that my x is 2 and my y is 1. Again, those came from that point up there. I know that my m is a -3. So that I'm going to plug in. So we have y equals mx plus b. So y is 1, m is -3, x is 2, and then plus b. Our other option would have been to do -8 equals -3 times 5. Doesn't matter. They're both that create the same line, or part of the same line, so we're going to find the same y-intercept. And so here we have 1 equals -6 plus b, and then I'm solving for b, so I'm going to add 6 to both sides. So 1 plus 6 is 7. If I did this one, I'm going to come up with b is 7 as well. From here, I take my m and the fact that b is 7, and I now write y equals -3x plus 7. And so that is the equation of our line. So if we were to write this out as steps, step 1, find slope. Step 2, plug a point and slope into y equals mx plus b. Step 3, solve for b. Step 4, rewrite y equals blank, x plus blank. And so those are your steps. All right, in the next video, we will go over how to graph given y slope-intercept form. See you there.